Alright, it sounds like you're ready.
Sounds like you're ready.
I'm over here.
Danny, are you ready?
Alright, we're here at Hustle More Podcast. We got a special episode today with a special guest, a really good friend of mine. I will introduce her, but I don't think I'll do her the justice, so I'll allow her to introduce herself, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm Danni B, and I live here in Atlanta, and entrepreneurship, some things going on, and I'm very, very proud to be on Mr. Stone's show. He has a lot of things going on, and some very interesting topics. It's good to talk about real stuff aside from pop culture.
Exactly.
In a world where people need the real, but they don't want to deal with the real.
Exactly. Well, I think by now we know Hustle More Podcast is mainly all about business. And the goal here is to teach and for us to learn as well, for people who want to comment, like, and share. You know, we don't know everything, of course, so we just want to put the information out that we know. And if we can receive some positive feedback back that'll help us out, please send it on through. So today's discussion will be about inheritance and self-made wealth. Is self-made wealth better or worse than inherited wealth? If you want to start off saying something, that's fine. Otherwise, I can start off. I'll tell you a little bit about what I think about it. What do you think?
I think that depends on who you ask. Because for me, I'm a go-getter. I like to create. That's just me. I like to create things. I think that God instilled something very special in all of us. And a lot of times, I always go by that strategy. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Okay.
So, with that being said, it's nothing wrong if you inheriting money. Great.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Mm-hmm. Teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so that...
I heard that before, but I like that.
Exactly. So, for me, if you inherit your money, that is great. By all means, blessings on blessings on blessings. But if you had to work for it, I think there's a little bit more appreciation for it. I think you also remain... to me, you have a sense of humanity as well.
Humanity or humility?
Humanity.
Okay.
Because you have some people that have so much money, they forget what it is to be human. Because a lot with money usually comes power. And so a lot of things that happen to us that make us human. And a lot of times when I say human, that have you ever met someone, they're very accomplished and they feel as if they're better than people? Like, you're not even the same. Like, we're not even the same. Like, you know, you've heard people say we're not cut from the same cloth. Okay, that's fine. But you hear some people saying, like, we're not even the same. Like, I'm better than you. Like, exactly. Like, I'm better. Like, if you see me out in space, I can breathe without the gear. You know what I'm saying? I'm better. Like, I have arrived.
That's kind of how racism is.
It is.
Yeah, that sounds like that.
You know what? They're going to consider black people human at one point, right?
Exactly.
Less than a fifth of... So, exactly. So, some people may think that their wealth actually makes them above everyone. They're not even human.
So, you know, some people will argue, I've heard this, that classism exceeds racism.
Oh, yeah. What kind of
that's similar to what you're talking about?
Exactly. What did he say? I'm not racist, I don't like green faces. Like,
that what he said?
Yeah, exactly.
He said, I'm not racist, I like green faces.
I only like green faces.
Ye say some stuff.
He does, but meaning though, honestly, I think a lot of people feel that way. Like, they're not racist. They don't care where the money coming from, where the money reside,
Maybe
where the money reside.
Maybe not a lot of people that look like us, but other cultures care a whole lot. And that's the difference. They don't put the green before they race.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them. Blacks, yeah, we'll cross each other almost. Not all the time, because I don't want to push that narrative on this show. Because I do see black people coming together, working together, and doing the right thing.
I think when you say that, you're not saying that black people will backstab each other. What you're saying is that black people are like looking for opportunities where they can get them.
Right.
And so whether it's coming from a white man, black man, brown man, Asian man, if we can work together and make some money, let's make it happen. So I think that's what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. However, I think that personally, it's okay to try to build with, I won't even say the whole black community, but I will at least say your family first. You know, relatives, people you may know, growed up with. not the whole family, but you know, to me the thing be, you know, I'm gonna get back to the topic. If someone is self-made, to me the definition of self-made is you the first person out of the family to accumulate some wealth.
I agree.
So that's the opposite of inherited. Inherited is somebody gave it to you. They got it before you.
Or nepotism too. People, they put you in contact with the right people because they're already connected to help you get there. Because so meaning that Kylie Jenner, remember it was really controversial when she was on Forbes self-made billionaire.
That's a good one.
And they're like, look who your family is. And then it wasn't like you weren't already a millionaire because of your family. So if you, and then we all know if you have money, it's easier to make money because you can invest it. Like if someone says, oh, I'm about to start a company. And like even with Ring, if you think about Nas's company that invested in a Ring doorbell, he did. That was a great investment, but he had the money to invest.
Pluto too.
I think so. But he had the money to invest. Think about it. If Ring came to you and you're like, oh, I got it. I'm worth $300 million. So what is it? Oh, they need $50,000. They need $200,000. That's nothing. That's pennies. So you have that money. Let's say you invest that $100,000 and you own now 10% of the company, and now the company is worth $4 billion. You know, so if you think about things like that, when you have money, it makes it a lot easier to make money.
That's a great point you made because this Forbes report, and I'm going to show it on the video so you guys will be able to see it when I'm talking about.
But before we go there, do you want to go back to the topic?
No, we are on topic.
Okay. So,
you know, listen, you right on point. You bring me to a question in this article about what we're saying. Because when we talk about is self-made wealth versus better than inherited wealth, what you just said, in my opinion, is wealth creates wealth.
It can.
So you want to inherit some wealth.
I mean,
if we saying wealth makes wealth, and in this Forbes article they saying kind of the same thing. What's his name? Warren Buffett proved it. Where I'm gonna say right here, he entered a $1 million bet with fund manager Protege Partners that the S&P 500 index will outperform a portfolio of hedge funds over the next 10 years. Buffett was right and donated his winnings to Girls Incorporated of Omaha. The S&P 500 index fund basically delivered a compound annual return of 7.1%, where the other guys who picked their investments, they only did 2.2%. So basically Warren Buffett is saying, just what you just said, if you already up, just put it in the stock market and let it sit, and you're going to guarantee to be straight instead of trying to think it out and pick and be self-made. If you already got it, because it said on here also, that's what he told his wife and kids. Like, just put whatever I give you into that and y'all will be straight the rest of y'all life. So that's what they saying. The wealth creates wealth.
It does. But one thing about Warren Buffett, and I would love to meet with Warren Buffett. If I could have a sit down with him and discuss my business with him, I'm telling you, all I would need is one conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure you and a lot of other people.
No. You have some people because they have that mentality. Instead of sitting down with Warren Buffett and picking his brain, because I know Jay-Z's talked about his meetings up with Warren Buffett. People laughing at Jay-Z like, why are you hanging out with that old white man? Are you kidding me?
No, they got a YouTube where they talking together.
Yeah, but of course. But I'm saying, but people were looking at Jay-Z. Why are you hanging out with this old white? Are you kidding me? I always look at people. You know that saying, show me your friends, I'll show you your future? Like, yes, I want to hang out with Warren Buffett. Hey, Warren, call me. Like, but, seriously, like, it's one of those things that if you're successful and you've already been to the promised land, you can take me there. You can show me how to get there. And I'm going to listen to you. So with that being said, I would hang out with Warren Buffett. It's not about a person, oh my God, she's a nerd or he's this old white man. I hate people start doing that. Who cares? Warren, let's sit down and have a conversation. You know what you're talking about. So, but anyway, hold on. But back to your self-made question. Do you think Kylie Jenner is a self-made billionaire?
That's a good question. I don't.
I don't either. Because to me, her family is the perfect example of nepotism. And it's
I just said what I thought my definition was.
Yes.
The first one, not the family. She is definitely not the first one.
Exactly.
Not
but
the family will accumulate no wealth.
No, she's not. But, let people tell it because she started her own company in the midst of doing it as she is. But she's not exactly, the definition of self-made.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that is the primary reason we doing this show because I think people need to know. what the difference is. So you brought up Jay-Z, and in the same...
And Jay-Z is self-made. That's an example.
In this Forbes article that he is actually the world's first hip-hop billionaire and the latest member of the Self-Made Billionaires Club. So, but I'll just say on the side note, I don't think he'd be there without his wife.
Of course not. But I always say two heads.
Power couple.
They are. But that's another look. That goes to another topic. You got to make sure you hook up with the right people. What did we just talk about? Net worth. Like, seriously. Like, he didn't just go marry. And there's nothing wrong with you want to marry Joe Smo or the average person on the street. That's fine. But as long as their mind is deep. Because even if he didn't marry Beyonce, who was a musician, but let's say he married, Felicia that graduated from Spelman. But she had that mindset. So Felicia says, hey, Jay, at the time, I think when he married Beyonce, he was worth like $400 million. So she says, hey, Jay, you worth $400 million. Let's create this app together. Or let's do this. Or let's do that. And she started coming with ideas. And he's like, you know what? You're right. Let's flip my money. Let's invest my money. Then that's okay. But if he's with someone who just wants to sit on his shoulder and say, I just want to look good. Jay, can you fly me out here? Jay, I want this plastic surgery and this. Jay, I want you to buy me this. Jay, I want you. And they just want to sit around and spend his money. Then he would not be that billionaire that he is today. I think it's not necessary. And I think even Beyonce came from good stock as well. Her parents were entrepreneurs. Especially her mother. So when you put that and instill that in your children, or if you have that mindset that you want to go out and get it at all costs, then you're going to go far.
So let's say this then. Clearly, Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids are going to inherit money. Mm-hmm. How do you think that's going to work out for them?
I think as long as they teach them the foundations of work. Meaning that, for example, Blue Ivy's already made her own money. They've had her featured on songs, so she's getting proceeds from that. She's been writing. So they're teaching her to make her own money now.
That's true.
So I think as long as Jay-Z and Beyonce...
But is that privilege?
Of course it's privilege.
Okay.
Well, let's be clear. Okay. That's still privilege. Okay. That's nepotism as well.
Okay.
That's connections.
Okay.
So, yes, but I think the difference
that's making more wealth.
That's wealth making more wealth. And I also
think...
That's okay. That's okay. And I also think the difference with that is Beyonce is teaching her at a young age, which is why they wanted her name. Remember, they were trying to trademark her name.
Blue Ivy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they wanted her name on certain products. They wanted to teach her to create. Yeah. And so now, as long as versus if they were just like Blue Ivy was like, we never hear from Blue Ivy. We never seen her. She's just in school like regular children, and then all of a sudden she's like 20, 21, and then she's doing, no offense to E.J. Johnson, but just living off his dad's money doing reality TV shows. It's like, what are you doing? That's the difference. They're teaching her how to create her own wealth. So by the time they leave this earth, she would have generated probably just as much money as them, if not more. So when she inherits what they have, she knows what to do with it.
That's true.
You can't. She won't squander it. And I'm pretty sure they do the same with her siblings. That's smart thinking, actually. That's that teaching a man to fish.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I want to talk about, switch gears just a little bit. Okay. What are some of the qualities or values one would have to become self-made? What do you think are some qualities and values that you must possess to become a self-made,
creativity,
wealthy person?
Creativity, determination, endurance, and you have to have very thick skin.
What would be your definition of endurance?
Meaning that you're going to have to winter some storms. It's probably going to be really hard. Like, you're going to probably go through some rough patches. When I say rough patches, I mean endless nights of not having sleep.
Isn't that determination, though?
No. Because you can be determined to do something at all costs. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do. But it's he who makes it to the end, even when you're weary. I met determined people who like, I'm determined to cross this bridge. And then, after a while, they be like, okay, you know what? Even though I really want to go, I can't physically endure this. I can't do it. Like, you have to be in a place to physically and mentally endure it. How many people were determined to get to become music artists and careers, and they've gotten there, but then when they got there, they couldn't endure the pressures that came along with fame. They couldn't endure it all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. So it's endurance as well as determination.
I got you.
So that's and you have to be willing to put in that work for it. When you work for someone, that is difficult. They control if you think about it, they control when you eat, sleep, vacation, don't vacation, you get married, whatever you're going to do in your life, they dictate that. Because the first thing you have to do when you want to take off is say, hey, can I get this day off? Even if you don't have to look in the system to see if there's time allotted, if for some people, depending on what you do, but even like myself, when I was working at the company, I love the company. They were a phenomenal company, great company to work for. But even myself, when I was on vacation, I remember being in Trinidad answering emails. I'm on vacation, but I'm answering emails. If I'm going to be doing that, I want to do it for my own dreams.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Because this is time I'm taking away from spending with my loved ones, and because I'm answering an email. Even if it's a quick yes or no, I'm still picking up my phone and answering an email. And you would know as well, if you've been out to dinner with someone or doing anything with someone, and they pick up their phone, even if it's just for a second, it's still a distraction.
That's true.
And it's still rude.
Yeah, true.
So.
I agree with that. Well, those are some, I agree. I would say one that I heard in particular is gratefulness. And they say that's typically a trait or quality that only a self-made person would have, that people that inherit wealth typically don't have. And I talked about my growing up a little bit, just a little bit, in my first episode on here. But I grew up, I was raised by my granny. My mom passed when I was 4. My dad wasn't really in my life. So I grew up kind of rough. And I learned to be grateful for everything fast. So I understand that because I do have relatives, people very close in my vicinity and friends that I grew up with that, even down to having a 2-parent household, these folks are not grateful. And I'm looking like, man, I used to grow up like, boy, I wish I. And they was like, man, I hate it here.
You make a good point.
I'm like, how?
I was not grateful. Let me tell you, when I went to school, I grew up with a 2-parent household and grew up in the house. My parents bought me my first car, and I was not grateful.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it talks about that people think it's okay to spoil your children. No. First of all, do you eat spoiled food?
No, not at all.
Do you want anything spoiled?
Not at all.
What do you do with spoiled stuff? You throw it away, right? Garbage. Fast. Garbage. So, and I had great parents. Great parents. My mother, I was raised.
Shout out to your parents.
Yeah, shout out to my parents. Yeah. I was raised by my mother and my stepfather. He just recently passed.
Okay.
My biological father is still alive. But I had the best dad. Like, he was the best. He was phenomenal. Stepdad. Yes, he was phenomenal. Like, because for a man to come in and raise a child like his own, and it's not.
When he came into your life?
I was 4.
Oh man, so yeah, he's been there.
Yeah, he's been there. He was there. Yeah, he was there. 30-something years there. But I could just the man was awesome. But I said it to say that when I became grateful, when I went away to college, and I seen my parents not only took me to college, they came there, they cleaned my dorm room, they unpacked everything, they decorated, they took me grocery shopping, they gave me money, they made sure I had everything before they left. And even then, after being gone, my mother would send me care packages in the mail, my dad put money in my account, then when I got credit cards, they would pay my credit card bills, and then eventually, like I said, they bought me my first car. And I wasn't grateful for that until I seen other people's parents drop them off at college like deuces. Or either some people's parents didn't even drop them off. They put them on a bus. Yeah. They put them on a bus. Yeah. And I was just like, and then their parents never looked back. Yeah. They were just like, I'm done. Yeah. And then I realized wait. And that's when I developed a heart of gratitude. So that's when I realized. And then even then I still have my moments, and even then, and I know everybody's not going to believe, but when I got close to the God and I started developing a relationship with him as an adult, because you forget a little bit because you start working, making your own money, and you forget again sometimes when you tell your parents, I'm grown now, I'm making my own money. So you still even sometimes forget. So there were times when I wasn't as grateful as I should have been, even after, I had that heart of gratitude to be thankful for them, but I wasn't as grateful when I started making my own money and doing things myself. So, when I got closer to Jesus, I started having a heart of thank you. And then also too, when I started going on mission trips and seeing how people live in third world countries, and when you see everybody who lives it makes you very grateful. And that's one thing too. I think if you're a person who has wealth and your children are going to inherit it, I think you need to take them places to take them to to poverty-stricken areas and let them see what people are living like and make them volunteer and help. I remember one day my pastor said at church that his daughter was 5 years old. He took her to India and had her combing lice out of other children's hair.
Wow.
And then he had her, yes, and he had her going to get clean water and all this stuff and serving the kids and wiping them down. And, you know, and the crazy thing is I told one of my family members about it. She was like, I would never have my child picking out lice and going to get water. Why? Jesus washed the feet of people. Like, you got to teach them humility. And her daughter, she's very well off. My family member told me this. And I'm like, I would never do that to my child. I would. You going to be right over there combing out those lice. You going to be over there bringing them water. You going to be over there swatting off the flies. Everything. Yes, we're going on mission trip.
It's an objective to it.
Yes, of course it's going to be an objective, but I want to teach them.
Especially if you're doing God's work.
Exactly.
You know, that's really sometimes the only objective it needs to be.
Exactly, but I think a lot of people, again, don't realize that you have some kids who've never even seen dirty water or seen a poverty-stricken area. They don't even, when they see homeless people, they're like, ah! Like, they don't even know. So that's what I'm saying. You have to be very, very careful of that. That's why I would say the self-made millionaires and billionaires, I have a big level of respect for them. And it's not to diss anybody who've inherited anything. That's your blessing. That is your blessing. I'm not discouraging you from it, but I've surmised, given everything that I've learned and seen, that people who are usually self-made are more appreciative and they hold on to their money a lot longer. And they're more likely to help someone else along the way.
That's true. A self-made person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. So it's been literature that's been written. One in particular is called the Thomas Mann published this novel called Buddenbrooks. He's a German writer, and it's called The Decline of a Family, which tells the story of how a rich merchant family, the Buddenbrooks, slowly but surely squandered its fortune over the course of 4 generations. And they go on to talk about where some scientists did some research, and they found that back in the day, like in early 1900s, even on Forbes they say this, in 1984, less than half the people on the Forbes list of richest Americans were self-made. So they say back then it was more inherited wealth. Mm-hmm. It was only towards later on, after 84, people started really making their own money. I think that's kind of when the computer hit, things and laws changed. But before then, the writer and the books and the literature and the scientists were talking about how they were basically proving that over 4 generations, because of knowledge not being passed down the right way, that wealth would be squandered, and even to charities, giving back, taxes. There was a few things that they said that basically it takes about that time. Taxes, spending, and charitable, that about 8 to 13 years, it can be gone.
That's it?
Yeah. On average. That's on average. So, check those literatures out, man, and see for yourself. I want to say the bottom line to me, though, that I came up with doing all this research that I did, is that it's a lot of things in this world for us as a people, as a human race, to be divided over. Like we just talking about race, wealth, politics, gender, sexism, So I think if self-made or inherited, if you're able to achieve wealth, you made it. However you get there, that's really been my thing. It don't even matter how you get there, as long as you get there. But piggybacking off of something I was saying earlier, different races, I think that's what separates us, because you have different races of people that once they do get self-made wealth, they do pass it along and teach their family, and it goes on for generations. And I want us to start doing that more because too many times what I'm seeing is athletes, entertainers, they get, it's like the lottery effect. They come up almost overnight and then they leave their communities, for whatever reason. Some of them have valid reasons because you can't just debo these people, For example, I can't think of exactly who it was on top of my head, but I saw a documentary where this athlete was talking about he had came into a large sum of money once he signed into the league. And the same barber that had been cutting his hair his whole life, he went back to the community to get a haircut. And he said the barber came to him with some kind of deal or business plan to where they would start up a new barbershop, this big luxurious barbershop. And the athlete was going to fund it 100%, but split the profits with him 50-50.
Oh, where they do that at? Where they do that?
Okay. Because he said he going to run it. He want him to put up all the money, and he going to run it, and then they can split it 50-50.
Oh, okay.
And I done had people slick come to me with stuff like that.
Right.
Like, you get it started.
And you try to add up the math on that. And it doesn't add up. It's like, wait a minute.
I'm interested.
Yeah, for one party. It's like, 1 + 1 is 20. You like, hold on.
Exactly.
No.
But when they looking at you like that, like you got it. Like you just said earlier, you got 100,000. They thinking, man, that ain't number 20, 30. That ain't none of you.
Yeah, but that's their $100,000. That's the thing people have to realize. You can't tell someone what to do with their money. You can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But it'd be nice for people to come back and figure out a way to get those barbershops and get those jobs in the community.
But you know what? Somebody should go on Shark Tank and say, hey, I need y'all to give me 100% of everything. We spend 50. That needs to happen on the episode and just watch the sharks' faces.
Yeah.
I bet everybody, like, look.
Hood stuff.
But I would love to see that. Look, put me on Shark Tank. I'm gonna come over there and be like, excuse me. Let me tell y'all what I want for y'all. My idea is so amazing. We're gonna make so much money. But I need you to fund us at 100% and we split everything 50-50. And they're like, and so do you have any, and then even splitting it 50-50, how do you even divvy out the shares of the company? So you're saying there's 50% ownership for this person and 50% ownership for you? Is that what you're, because, and even,
there's a lot to unpack in that.
Yeah,
he was serious. And I could see like I told people, don't try me like that a little bit, family and friends. Like, hey man, you get that thing going, I help you take it to the next level, I just need in. I'm like, nah, that ain't how it works. You gotta come in on the ground.
You gotta put some skin in the game.
Yeah,
like it's like owners versus renters, because even then,
the less skin you put in the game, the less ownership.
Exactly, and responsibility and accountability. Yeah. It's kind of like when we go back to talk about inherited money versus earned money. Because even then, if let's say the athlete did it with the barbershop. He's not gonna. To me, he wouldn't probably put the same heart in it he would if it was his money. Because he'll probably look at it like, okay,
the barber.
Yeah, the barber. He'll probably look at it like, okay, we spent $100,000 on this shop to get this. Well, this is going bad, or this is not happening the way I want to. But let's say the athlete's name is Eddie Brooks. Eddie Brooks would be okay. He worth $30 million. So this $100,000 he invested in this barbershop, even though it's not working and it's going down, he's still worth $30 million. No, that's not the point.
And that's why most guys, in our community, don't say they don't want to give back, because it's like, man, y'all just trying to mess my money up. I don't need no help messing my money up.
Exactly.
And that's an issue, though. We got to find a way to fix that in our community, because inheritance, we just proved on this show, wealth brings more wealth. So we want people to go and get self-made wealth and come back. Magic Johnson is a good person, I think, that represents that.
Oh yeah, but I just wish he would do better with his children. I just
I don't know about his personal.
I'm just saying, but just even
he's self-made.
He's very self-made.
Giving a whole lot back.
But I worry that.
I don't know what the man does.
No. I worry that, how we were just talking about teaching the people to fish. I worry that
he's spoiling them.
Yes, and that's one thing I worry. I hope that his money is not gone when he leaves, like in a couple of generations.
Everybody ain't gonna get it.
I just hope that doesn't happen.
I know. What is his son, daughter?
Yeah,
I feel you.
Like, it's more than likely to walk around wearing Birkin bags and looking cute.
She's a she.
No, I think E.J. Johnson is just. I think he's gay. I don't think he's transgender.
Okay, so
at least
we can refer to him as a he.
Let's just be sure. Let's just Google and
see.
Because
I think he, I think he is cool. Like from what I've seen, I don't judge. I think he.
I did not know he was 6'2".
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what he's doing with business though, so I see what you're saying. Like he might be one of those socialites where he is just enjoying his daddy's money. Cause I ain't heard him doing no business, and like you say, that's I guess what we can say. We respect the Kylie or Kendall Jenner because they ain't just sitting back off the money. Mm-hmm. They did something with the money, and that's why they want to be considered self-made. But nah.
I mean, and that is one thing I can say. Like, I don't see that E.J. Johnson has launched any companies or anything like that as on research. But I know he's been on a couple reality TV shows.
Yeah, he's supposed to own them shows.
Yeah, but
Daddy Magic Johnson, ain't no reason you shouldn't.
And no, he didn't transition. He's that according to what I just read, he thought about transitioning. He was proud of Caitlyn Jenner, but he changed his mind, declined.
I bet I think he's a cool person.
I think that, but I do hope that...
But he might be spoiled. Yeah,
and I hope that...
He's still in the 20s?
Yeah, he's 28 years old, but he'll be 29 this year. He's closer to 30 than he is to his 20s.
I don't hear from him much.
Exactly, but I hope that Magic Johnson will teach him, like, the ins and outs of business. And all his children. Just so nobody can come in...
No ins and outs of business.
But I hope he does, because you don't want anyone to come in and take your wealth.
You can't make your kid be about that.
You cannot, but you also can let him know, hey, you see this Birkin bag you have? Or everything you like, the fashion? Because he's a fashionista. Like, the fashion game is that. The dress game is A1. Yeah. So, if you want to continue this, how are you going to pay for it?
I like it, but I see where you're going.
Yes, but my thing is, but these things, exactly. So, how are you going to pay for it? Because daddy's money is daddy's money. Now, and even if daddy gives you his money, how are you going to keep this money?
Like you're going to mama. For that money. It might be going to mama.
But either way, how are you going to keep this money?
Shoot.
How are you going to keep this money? Like, how are you going to keep the ebbs and ups and downs of money? How are you going to make it flow?
Because dad and mama might got him on a budget.
Even so.
Because that's what I'm telling you. Like, Magic Johnson ain't stupid. He know them values. He's self-made for a reason.
He does. He may have him on a budget.
He ain't just finna give up his wealth to his son.
Of course. But if he dies, then what? It's kind of like with Kobe Bryant. Remember when everybody was saying, oh, Vanessa wasn't balling with him on the court. She didn't deserve that money, da-da-da. Okay, rest in paradise, Kobe. But when he passed away, she has it all. They didn't want her to get half, but now she has it all. So with that being said, I hope she knows how to manage that money. I hope Kobe taught her some things, or she learned some things along the way while she was with him, is what I'm saying. So, if not, then his wealth would be gone in a couple of generations. You understand what I'm saying?
I think his daughter, the surviving one, just became a model.
Oh, yeah, of course they're going to. She probably going to teach her things like that. But I even remember her mother. Her mother, I forget, Vanessa Bryant, her mother turned against her own mother, was saying that she didn't pay her enough money and they didn't do this. Vanessa Bryant's mother. And wanted to sue her. And I think she's in the midst of doing that right now. Okay. It's like this woman just lost her husband and her daughter.
Okay.
But that's what people do when it comes to money. People would say, your own flesh and blood mother. Can you imagine? Like that is hurtful. But needless to say, I hope that, and I'm pretty sure Vanessa Bryant seems very intelligent, but I hope that people are doing things with because that's a huge advantage. I look at it like this is the finish line right here. You are like right here. Or they probably can't see the table, but I'll do this with my hands. This is the finish line. When you have inherited wealth, this is the finish line, and you are like right here. Right here. Mm-hmm. That you're right there. So why would you do this? When all you have to do is take a couple steps and you can, why? But I think people who are self-made, this is the finish line, and they are here. And they have to, and along the way, that journey of getting all the way here, things transpire.
I'm going right. That's a fact.
So that, to me, that does something to your heart.
Don't nobody want to talk about how they got their first million.
Mm-mm.
And I agree with them. They ain't even got it yet.
But you did say yet. I love it. I don't mind how, when I get mine, I don't mind talking about it because it's definitely going to be legit and blessed from Christ, and I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
And yes.
We're going to thank God for that.
Yes. Everything. I thank him for even, excuse me, I thank him for everything now. I thank him.
You're going to get there.
I thank him for everything. The low spots, the high spots, the layoffs, the in-between, the thousands, the millions, the billions. I'm thanking him for all of it now. Because I'm very grateful. Like, I can't express like how grateful I am on so many levels for so many things. And maybe because I know so many people. And I'm even grateful for this glass.
You feel me?
I'm grateful for this glass.
Man,
I'm grateful for this big gallon of water sitting right here.
I hand-picked them glasses.
These are nice glasses.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Straight for the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm grateful for everything because think about it. It's COVID right now. And so many people are going through it right now. They don't have food. They don't have shelter. They don't have any means to do a lot of things. But we're sitting here together. They don't even have people they can reach out to or talk to. And you and I are sitting here together doing this podcast. You have a laptop. Some people don't even have a laptop.
In fact, I've been trying to get people to get laptops.
People don't even have internet or electricity. So that's what I'm saying. If we think about the smallest things.
We got to pray for Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that serious.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot. Shout out to Texas, man. I wanted to move to Texas. We probably gonna have to come back here and do an episode on that alone.
Yeah, I want some property in Texas, but you're right.
You know, they say, speaking of self-made and inherited, the wealthy people got power out there.
Are you serious?
You heard that?
But they have generators probably.
Man, they saying they on the grid. On the grid?
On the grid?
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap this on up. I think it's been a great show so far. Me personally, I'm learning a little bit from you. It's Danni B.
You got this, Mr. Stone. It's your show. Hey, I'm just here, you know. Hey.
I definitely appreciate you coming through.